Trump just triggered the most dangerous chain reaction in modern financial history by trying to replace the Fed chair early. Within hours, the US dollar suffered its worst quarter in over a decade, down more than 10%, and Wall Street isn't panicking. But Beijing is celebrating, rolling out gold-backed contracts, ditching treasuries, and rewriting the global payment system in real time. The Shanghai Gold Exchange just opened a vault in Hong Kong. Foreign investors are lining up. And every dollar they don't use? That's power leaving Washington and flowing straight into China's hands. And now, Beijing's making a move that could end the dollar's reign as the world's reserve currency. For good. But this next move? It's the one nobody's ready for. The US dollar just hit a 3-year low, plunging 10.3% year to date. And it wasn't a rogue market glitch. It was a reaction to President Trump signaling he'll replace Jerome Powell months ahead of schedule, according to the Wall Street Journal. That announcement, before Powell's term ends in May 2026, has traders pricing in a near certain rate cut by the fourth quarter, despite 3.6% annualized inflation and no Fed consensus on easing. Rodrigo Catril of NAB warned that markets are effectively trading as if Powell's successor is already in control, triggering an accelerated sell-off in Treasury futures. Bloomberg data shows the dollar index dropped 1.8% in just 2 sessions after Trump's shortlisting comments at the NATO summit. This isn't policy, it's preemptive market conditioning. But if trust in U.S. monetary independence erodes before Powell exits, what happens when the replacement arrives? According to Reuters, foreign holdings of U.S. treasuries have dropped $194 billion since January, a scale not seen since 2015. That capital flight is directly correlated to falling returns, with the 10-year yield stuck near 3.97% and headline inflation still outpacing base rates. The real return on bonds is negative. Meanwhile, China's central bank has reduced its U.S. debt exposure to $775 billion. The lowest level in 14 years, citing loss of policy predictability, as reported by Nikkei Asia. Wall Street firms like Morgan Stanley now project another 5 to 7% slide in the dollar if Powell is sidelined early. But here's where it gets darker. A collapsing dollar increases import prices across energy and tech. The U.S. trade-weighted oil import index jumped 12.6% this quarter, which begs the question. If this is the controlled phase of decline, how much more uncontrolled does it get? The offshore yuan has strengthened over 2.4% against the dollar since April, while China simultaneously launched 16 new futures contracts for foreign investors, ranging from rare earth metals to tin, according to Zhengzhou and Dalian exchange filings. That's not coincidence, it's choreography. People's Bank of China Governor Pan Gongxing told the Lujiazui Forum that China's strategy is to create hedging tools that bypass Western financial systems. Beijing's expansion of yuan-denominated commodities trading, especially through the Shanghai Gold Exchange's new Hong Kong vault, has already registered $10.5 billion in activity in its first month per SCMP. That gold isn't just an asset. It's a trust instrument priced outside the Fed's influence. When a reserve currency's authority erodes, rival systems don't wait, they capitalize. But the next phase isn't gold, it's liquidity. And China's just getting started. In May 2025, U.S. goods exports plunged by 5.2%, led by a sharp contraction in industrial supplies and capital goods, according to the latest Bureau of Economic Analysis report. Even crude oil shipments, which used to be a pillar of U.S. trade leverage, fell by 7.1% month over month, kind of undermining the White House's push for energy dominance. Beijing, instead of retaliating with new tariffs, just reduced its orders, especially for semiconductors and aerospace components, putting this quiet pressure on sectors tied to U.S. manufacturing jobs. BCA research points out that this non-tariff disengagement is actually more effective than overt sanctions, because it signals a long-term decoupling. With the merchandise trade deficit widening to $101.6 billion in May, the U.S. now has to rely more heavily on domestic consumption, which honestly is already deteriorating, to absorb all that supply. But here's the twist. While America's exports are drying up, China is quietly expanding its bilateral RMB trade agreements across ASEAN and Africa. flipping market share without firing a single retaliatory shot. If demand doesn't return soon, the US won't just lose volume, it'll lose relevance. The US Treasury market is losing foreign support just as funding needs are exploding. With the federal deficit projected to hit $1.9 trillion in fiscal year 2025, according to the CBO, the Treasury has to auction over $3.2 trillion in debt this year alone. But as Bloomberg's Lydia Bussour reports, demand is faltering. The most recent 20-year bond auction saw the lowest bid-to-cover ratio since 2011 at just 2.09. Japan, which is the largest foreign holder after China, has cut its purchases by $38 billion in 3 months, citing currency hedging losses from dollar depreciation. Meanwhile, China is rerouting its surplus into yuan-denominated lending across ASEAN, where its cross-border interbank payment system, or CIPS, handled 3.6 trillion won in the second quarter alone, up 21% year over year. That's not a soft pivot. It's a systemic migration. And if sovereigns stop recycling trade surpluses into treasuries, who exactly will buy the debt required to keep the dollar alive? In the second quarter of 2025, Walmart raised prices on over 1,200 items across food, apparel, and electronics, citing sustained input cost inflation from Trump's expanded tariffs, now covering $344 billion worth of goods. According to Bank of America's Consumer Tracker, the average grocery basket in the U.S. is up 8.7% year over year, while household discretionary spending fell 3.1% in May. Walmart CFO John David Rainey told CNBC the company is, quote, forced to pass through cost pressures that are no longer temporary. As bulk retailers lift margins to protect earnings, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that real hourly wages declined 0.5% in May, eroding consumer capacity even as nominal wages rise. But here's the catch. This isn't just a domestic squeeze. Chinese exporters are starting to prioritize non-US buyers, offering RMB-denominated contracts, locking in more stable demand from ASEAN and Middle Eastern clients. So the next time a shelf price jumps, ask yourself, how much of that inflation is made in China and how much is priced in Beijing? The share of global reserves held in US dollars has fallen to 58.3%. Down from 65% in 2016, according to the IMF's KOFR database, a level not seen since the euro's launch. Meanwhile, yuan reserves, while still small at 2.7%, have grown 72% in just 5 years, with 23 central banks now actively holding RMB assets, according to Standard Chartered's Emerging Market Outlook. In May, China finalized a landmark $100 billion bilateral swap line extension with Indonesia, allowing settlement of LNG and coal contracts in yuan, a deal that bypassed both the dollar and euro entirely. In parallel, Switzerland and Brazil began using yuan in portions of their FX reserves for the first time. UBS strategist Rohit Arora says, the trend isn't rapid, but it's sticky. Once countries move into the yuan, they don't revert. As more sovereigns shift incrementally, the risk isn't a collapse. It's a quiet replacement. And the deeper question becomes, when does network loyalty turn into global currency fatigue? Trust, not interest rates, underpins global reserve currencies. And Washington shattered it when it froze $300 billion in Russian central bank assets in 2022. According to Eurasia Group's Dan Wang, that moment wasn't a financial decision. It was a warning signal. In direct response, China cut its U.S. Treasury holdings by $103 billion over the following 18 months, while the People's Bank of China began routing sovereign wealth fund operations through Hong Kong and Singapore. To attract developing nations, Beijing rolled out a program in April offering partial RMB-denominated loan forgiveness for Belt and Road partners that settle future trade in yuan. The IMF's surveillance notes confirm that China's lending now defaults to RMB in 67% of all new disbursements in Africa. And it's not just economics, it's risk insurance. If global borrowers now fear that dollar exposure means potential asset freezes, they don't need a better system, just a safer one. So who controls the world's trust ledger now? On June 26, 2025, the Shanghai Gold Exchange launched 2 new yuan-denominated bullion contracts and opened its first offshore vault in Hong Kong, a move that generated $2.3 billion in cleared trades within 48 hours, according to Bank of China, Hong Kong. Unlike the LBMA system in London, these contracts are settled physically in Asia, priced in RMB, and now accessible to foreign investors with non-dollar collateral. Christopher Hay, Hong Kong's Treasury chief, declared at the launch, "Gold is not only a reserve, it's now an instrument of monetary diversification. China, the world's largest producer and consumer of gold, now offers a full-stack alternative to Western precious metals markets. And while the London gold market processes roughly $140 billion monthly, analysts at ING warn that China's infrastructure advantage, combined with capital flow from de-dollarizing nations, could erode LBMA's dominance within 5 years. So this isn't just about shiny metal, it's about control over value itself. And right now, Beijing is minting that control, gram by gram. So what happens next? The US dollar isn't collapsing overnight, but the architecture holding it up is being quietly removed, one support beam at a time. Trump's rate gambit rattled markets. Beijing's financial countermeasures are accelerating and capital is moving. Not loudly, but relentlessly. While Washington debates its next Fed chair, China is issuing gold-backed contracts in its own currency. And while US retailers raise prices, foreign central banks are buying fewer treasuries and more yuan. So now, it's your move. Does the dollar adapt? Or does it concede the future one payment at a time? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because what happens in the next 90 days could redraw the global financial map. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. You can check out another video that is now on your screen.